Grilled cheese sandwich? Why are you making this? I hear you ask. What makes this extraordinary is the blending of a sofrito filling with two of Spain's most famous cheeses, Cabrales and Manchego. Anyone who's been to Barcelona knows how the Spanish enjoy sherry wine with their tapas. To me, sherry's an awkward combination with most food, but this is an exception. And if you already like sherry with tapas, you're really going to love this because it pairs absolutely beautifully.
So we have our mise en place for the sofrita. I've got 120 grams of tomatoes. I've got a couple of cloves of garlic. These are really big cloves. 30 grams of onion, a couple of bay leaves, Spanish smoked paprika, pimenton. Try to get the actual Spanish one if you can. So just to make it clear, the only things that are going in this mixer cup in order to get pureed are the tomatoes, the onions, and the garlic. In this case, I'm going to make it a little bit spicy. I've got a red chili here, serrano. I'm just going to put a little piece of this in. This is optional. You don't have to do this. The other ingredients are all going to get fried in the pan in a minute, as you'll see. In a non-stick pan, I've got on a medium-high heat about 7. I'm going to put about 2 tablespoons of olive oil, and then a teaspoon of the pimenton directly into the olive oil. This is why I didn't grind this up with the vegetables, because this needs to be cooked on its own first. The exact amount of time that you cook this is impossible to say. You go mostly by smell, 2 or 3 minutes. Depends on how fast the pan is heating up mostly. You want to get it past that stage. When you first put the pimenton, the smoked paprika in there, it has this very pungent aroma. You want to cook it until that's gone. So it doesn't have that strong smoked paprika taste anymore. This is obviously very hot. We're ready to add the rest of the ingredients from the sofrito, or at least most of them. We'll add the bay leaves on the top here, like this, and we begin cooking this. Now I had it on a medium-high heat of 7. I'm going to actually reduce it down just a little bit. It's on about 5.5 now, and we're going to cook this slowly, reduce it down until it's very thick. It shows you what it looks like about midway here. You don't have to stir it constantly. Just stir it once in a while. Make sure obviously nothing's sticking and getting cooked unevenly, but it's going to take a while. We want to reduce this until it's really thick. Okay, I have it reduced down to this point. Now, this will probably seem counterintuitive to you, but now I'm actually going to increase the heat. It was at about 5. Now I'm going to increase the heat, add another tablespoon of olive oil. I turned the heat up to about 8. And we're going to fry this. I'm going to fry this in the oil for just another couple of minutes. We want to really develop some flavor in here. It's been another minute here. You can see how reduced this is now. Okay, I'm gonna call this done. It's been about 2 more minutes. And now, how you verify that you cooked it enough is you weigh it. I found fished the bay leaves out, and I weighed it. It should be between 50 and 60 grams. This is 55 grams. It's absolutely perfect. So now we need to let this cool. Actually, let it stand and cool to room temperature before we continue. Now it's cooled down. If you've tasted this and thought, well, it doesn't have a very strong flavor, remember we've added no salt to this. Salt amplifies flavor. I'm only going to add a little bit to this, so it's like less than a quarter teaspoon, somewhere between 1/8 of a teaspoon and a quarter teaspoon, because that cheese is really salty. We don't want to make this a salt sandwich, so we've got enough in here to help taste it, to help give it some flavor rather. And now I'm going to add an egg yolk in here. And you blend this up, and this becomes your mixture for inside the sandwich. Now, I've got the bread. There is no butter on this side. There's only butter on the top side right now. And I'm going to begin heating this medium-high, just above 7. And what we want to do is we want to dry out the side that's on the pan. Even if you're using bread that's a day old, still, you want to dry it out and get a little bit crispier for the sandwich. So, about 6 or 7 minutes later, the butter on top, you'll notice, is all melted. And you get some nice crust around the edge here. just what you want. This is flavor. This is flavor in here. Now, I'm going to add this mixture. We're not trying to cover the entire sandwich. We're not making a sofrito sandwich here. We're making a grilled cheese sandwich. This is just flavoring for it. You got enough here for about 4 small sandwiches like this. So now that this is over there, I'm also going to reduce the heat now. It was on 7. I'm going to cut it all the way back to 4. Now, I'm going to put the blue cheese on this side because this is going to melt a lot easier. And you don't want to overdo it. Now, on top of this, I'm going to put this cheese. Then we're going to flip this bread over. You might need to use tongs. My fingers are kind of fireproof. Yours probably aren't. Now, I have a pan here. Make sure it's straight. I have a pan here. It's just got water in it. That's all. And I'm going to use that as a weight on here. If you have a press, that's fine too.
If you like my videos, look for my cookbook, now available through Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and other internet bookseller sites. Also look for my cocktail book, Cocktails of the South Pacific and Beyond, Advanced Mixology, available through Amazon online.